So you wanna climb the Tower of Barbs, right kiddo? Well, you can't do that without climbing floors 11 to 20. I learned a lot from my last video, so this one will be a bit more detailed than the last one. General tips for fighting, item management, and other stuff would still apply here and the succeeding floors, so keep that in mind. So that being said, let's get on with the tips. First of all, as soon as you leave floor 10, go back to the waiting room and purchase a 2-star fighter which have greatly increased stats compared to the 1-star fighters. You may want to explore floors 1 to 10 to level up and get more materials until you have plus 4 tier 1 gear. Personally, I spent this time to go to the Gyakafunsha store, which appears on Sundays, Wednesdays, and Fridays on Omoki. I did this so I can get my hands on 2-star materials ahead of time. Also, while we're at it, you probably received the free DMs from the beginner daily login reward. I'd recommend you use these to expand your storage up to 150 slots, but you don't have to follow me. It's just my personal preference when in these floor levels. The enemies here, much like their last floor range, have a set theme for their weapons, so I'll teach you how to dodge them. For magnums and sniper rifles, simply walk to the side while they're aiming to avoid getting hit. For shotguns, just dodge towards them as soon as you see them raise their hands. For assault rifles, dodge twice towards them as they aim. For machetes, same with the knife. Screamers do a 3-hit combo attack, although they sometimes stop at the first or second attack. Just run out of their range as soon as you see them perform their attacks. Before I forget, starting from this floor range, Yotsuyama chargers will start to appear, the special haters which have a distinct name. They have a chance to drop the blueprints of the gear they are wearing, so kill them on sight. As for the drill variant, he's pretty slow but can stun lock you, so when you see him raise his arm, simply walk out of range and after a while you'll see their arm recording which signals your time to strike. There's this fire baton one which you can counterattack after the initial hit. Alternatively, you can bait out an entire combo, but that's personally too long for me. If you do get hit by their fire attack, dodge 3 times to get rid of the flames. Lastly, for the chainsaw variant, you can counterattack after every first hit of the combo, but they are extra vulnerable if they decide to do the spin attack. As soon as your fighter is around level 30, I recommend farming around Seiyane, Momohara, and Okongauka. This is because all tier 2 materials are found at Seiyane and Momohara. Also, you can find different types of fiber at Okongauka while also containing the elevator to the waiting room. While at this floor range, you'll find the new beast called Pillbogs. You can't easily kill them, you have to stomp on them to stun them, and once they're stunned, just hit them with any weapon to get the life shroom. In my opinion, this is one of the most important consumables in the game since it heals you as soon as you drop to 0 health, and it lasts until you lose it. This being said, always try to have this buff on you from now on when you climb. While I'm at it, I'll talk about the other mushrooms. Transfafungus will allow you to remain literally invisible and free to attack for the duration. There's also the inferior umbrella rib fungus which continuously damages you and has to wind up for a few seconds before you turn invisible. Decoy shrooms can be tossed to lure in screamers. The decoys created by these mushrooms explode when struck, so be careful. Fishy fungus can be tossed towards enemies which cause them to attack each other and treat you like you're invisible. Electric shrooms can be tossed towards enemies which deal damage in an area. Vampire shrooms can be harvested for crabs which lets you steal health when attacking. Unlike the previous floors, open fires are more accessible in this floor range, so use this to your advantage by cooking your consumables to make them stronger. When seeing these cute turret thingies, it's always a good idea to break them because they usually activate at the most inconvenient time. For example, this room in Seiyane will trigger a trap as soon as you kick open the chest in the center. For this floor range, I'd like to give the spotlight to the machete, assault rifle, and the magnum. The machete is a decent melee weapon with a simple enough attack pattern and a great rage move. It costs 1 rage point which deals a massive amount of damage to a single enemy. The assault rifle may need leveling up before it can become usable, because its base version can only do burst fire, but as soon as you unlock the automatic fire, it can deal tons of damage in a short span of time, given that your opponent doesn't block of course. Its rage move is quite impressive as well. You launch a grenade which explodes on impact, dealing damage in an area for 1 rage point. Be careful when using this because you can hit yourself. Lastly, the magnum, because it breaks guarding as soon as you level it up enough. This means that as long as you're hitting your shots, you'll be dealing unblocked damage. Furthermore, this is one of the few piercing weapons which stagger enemies, which is a great bonus for this gun. I'm not that impressed with the rage move since it costs 2 rage point for a single shot, but it is quite powerful. As soon as you get your hands on tier 2 weapons and armor, I recommend you contest Goto and Makatsumi. This is the easiest version of Goto, so you should be fine. Just like the other bosses, just strike once when you have the opportunity. For you to know when the moment is right, here are his attacks. He has a basic double bite attack which he can sometimes chain into third bite. Dodge this by running to his side and attack as soon as you can. He has his tongue swipe attack which is slower but covers a wide area in front of him. This is well telegraphed when you see him stick his tongue out. Again, counter attack after moving to the side. Sometimes, he goes and pukes on the floor making it slippery for you. If you land or walk on this mess, you'll slip making you open to attacks, so doing anything other than those will let you leave the area unharmed. This includes crouch walking, dodging, or jumping away from the mess. He also does this jump attack which can easily be avoided by jumping away from him. He sometimes curls into a ball and go barreling towards you. You can dodge this by running perpendicular to his path. He's going to do this twice in a row, so you may want to watch out for that. When his health is low enough, he will emit a red smoke and standing in it causes him to do a quick bite attack. If you're hit and you stay on the floor, he's going to keep biting you while you're down. If he's able to flip you with the initial bite attack, you can avoid further damage by spamming the dodge button or block button, so you quickly stand up right after you're knocked down. If there's a mushroom on the floor when he is brought to this threshold, he will run to it and eat it. While he's got a red smoke on, you can directly toss the mushroom into him and feed him. If this mushroom has a negative effect, or if it's a crush shroom, it will stun him in some way. In this example, he charges up and hits a wall, stunning himself after eating a frog shroom. Just dodge this and attack him while he's stunned. If he eats a mushroom with no negative effects, he will simply heal after eating it, so be careful of this. As a note, his hitbox is kinda weird, so if you don't have a long enough weapon, you may sometimes miss like I do here. Great, now that you're able to beat Goto, the other floors are now open and we can proceed. Momohara has a lot of traps, so I'ma tell you where they are so you can avoid them. This hallway drops 2 bone tubers on you and activates the traps, so break the trap near the entrance before walking forward. I also recommend rushing the first bone tuber you come in contact with, so you don't have to fight 2 of them at once. If you do end up fighting them at the same time, you can use their fist rage move so you can knock one of them down, which will hopefully give you time to deal with the other one. This area has 2 false floors, here and here. This one just leads to a pit that's filled with beasts. The only danger here is that there's a possibility that there's a scorpion in there that could sting you. This one, however, makes you land on a lower floor and deal fall damage to you, so be careful. It leads to another area with some materials though, so it's still worth exploring if you're confident that you'll survive the fall. It's also worth noting that there's an area here near the main pit you can access by jumping, which sometimes contains loot. Lastly, this area here has landmines. I recommend setting them all off before you attempt to fight your way through this area. Sometimes the screamers trigger them as they run towards you, so be careful. In Komoto, there's a path here which has fire and landmines. While entering through this side, kill the guy near the entrance, then jump to the side to avoid the fire. After landing, run through the guy at the end of the hall because multiple screamers are running towards you and you don't want to get stuck in that hall while that happens. Just fight them in a more open area, prioritizing the ranged ones. If you enter through this side though, just go through these pipes into this hidden area and out through this hole to avoid passing through the fire. When passing through this container area, you may want to take snail shrooms. A couple should do in a future area I'll be talking about. Also take note of these hidden areas so you can claim more loot. Particularly this top container which always contain multiple chests. Skill shrooms also start spawning in this floor range, so you may want to keep as much as you can see because sometimes they can be used as materials for gear development. You may want to be careful around Yamadai because the main room is a huge area with a bunch of enemies, so as always, just lure them one at a time. There's a bullet tuber on top of one of the pillars who will try to shoot you from there, and a hover tuber which just roams around the area, so watch out for them. This room also contains electric wires which stun you if you touch the sparky end. You can jump towards the insulated part of the wire to avoid them, or just eat snail shrooms which allow you to pass through without issue. While you're up there, you can also unlock the shortcut to Sayane since the switch is located on this side of the gate. Once again, this trap room is present, but this time it's usually a hater and a bone tuber, so prioritize your target accordingly. You can also bait the hater into attacking the bone tuber, so do with that information whatever you will. Lastly, for this floor, There's this hall which contains breakable boxes. As soon as you pass a certain point, a bone tuber and 2 bullet tubers will drop down. I recommend running away because the bone tuber can chase you, but the bullet tubers are way too slow to do so. This will split them up, making them more manageable. The next floor is Isogaya, which is like the previous area, but now all enemies are snipers. Just lure them one by one and you should be fine. After passing this floor, you now reach Kaga, which contains a very crucial elevator since this marks the midpoint of your climb in this floor range. This area also contains the next mid-boss. This is a wood-only floor, so you can use this area to farm wood with the possibility of getting tier 3 wood as well as tier 1. As you reach this area, you gain access to grade 3 all-rounders. I didn't get the level 3 fighter for this fight though because I didn't know they were available at this point, so I recommend you buy them and level them up as soon as you can. Anyways, as soon as you enter this ominous looking room, the Jindai boss fight triggers. She's basically the same enemy but with a more annoying terrain. She starts the fight with teleporting right next to you, so get ready to wail on her as soon as she does. On your left is your safe haven. You're going to want to make your way to that box because this is a blind spot for all the places she teleports to. As a note that I forgot to mention last time, 95% of the time, if she takes damage from a melee attack, she's going to teleport, so once you land your first attack, just keep on continuing your combo until she teleports away. With that being said, the safest way to damage her is to wait for her to teleport on top of the box, then just climb up there to strike her. I also forgot to mention last time that she has this core beam attack which is well telegraphed by her charging up red lines behind her. Try not to get shot while in midair on this fight because that will usually lead to some nasty fall damage. In this fight, she will start teleporting to the bottom floor once her health reaches a certain level. For this segment of the fight, use the pillars as cover so you can get her to trigger her teleportation with a melee attack. Once you beat her, just make your way through Kinotamin and keep progressing to the next elevator so you won't have to beat her again to pass through here. There's really not much to say about this floor apart from the bloodier tileset, so let's move on. For Tema Uma, there's this trap room which spawns a bone tuber, a bullet tuber, and a screamer with a magnum as soon as you touch the chest, so be careful because that's where I had my first death on this account. In Nora, there's a hidden area behind this fire which usually contains materials. For this floor and the other succeeding floors, the general tip of baiting them out one at a time is crucial because these floors are jam-packed with multiple fighters. In Chitosemei, there's this area which contains a ton of traps. Most notably, these turrets which spit out fire conveniently placed out of view in front of this chest, so if you see a chest, don't open it immediately. After surviving those floors, you will now have access to the dawn of this area, Colonel Jackson. The first half of this boss fight will have you running around the room looking for detonators to disarm. All you have to take note of for this phase is that there are 3 detonating devices. As soon as you get close to them, you'll hear a beeping noise which gets faster and faster the more you get closer. Use this sound to pinpoint the location of your objective. Also, landmines are everywhere, so keep your eyes peeled while you make your way to those detonators. You do have 5 minutes to find and disarm the detonator, but if you've been upgrading your gear constantly, this phase shouldn't be problematic for you. After defusing the bomb, just approach Colonel Jackson to trigger the actual fight. The basis of this fight is Jindai, so just treat it in the same way but this time with more explosions. Before anything else, it's worth noting that fighting him with ranged weapons is a bad idea. They don't trigger his teleport and he's highly resistant to that type of damage. Now that we got that out of the way, let's get on with his attacks. Now, just like Jindai, he has the base attacks like the triple homing shots, the triple bouncing bomb shot, the single strafing shot, and the charged core blast. Jackson, however, has a new set of moves like the lasers, the missiles, the landmines, and the electric shot, so let's get over them one by one. Whenever you try to take cover, he will try to shoot you with lasers which pierce through walls. He'll be firing where you were last seen though, so just move a bit and you should be fine. For the missiles, he'll bend forward and say something along the lines of "I miss you." Afterwards, he'll fire 5 homing missiles towards you. If you're in close range, you will get hit by one of these, but if you're at mid-range, simply sprint to the side to avoid these. For the landmines, he'll throw 5 to 6 landmines which act like regular landmines. I really don't know what to tell you besides don't step on these. Lastly, he will fire an electric shock which is well telegraphed by the electric charge before firing it. It has a less than decent tracking, so you can either make it hit a wall between you and Jackson, or you can run to its side like I do here until it loses tracking on you. Just like Jindai, if you manage to land a melee hit on Jackson, you will most likely force him to teleport, which will allow you to score multiple hits on him. That being said, however, don't chase after him if he teleports to the upper floor, since doing so will literally make it an uphill battle. Stay on the ground floor and keep hiding until he's on your level. If he's close to cover, just use that cover to get close to him so you can land a hit. If he's far away, you can either choose to hide until he teleports or sprint towards him while dodging to the side. Either way, landing a melee hit will make him teleport, which will allow you to chain your combo. Just keep dodging and striking at the right time and the fight should be over before you know it. If you do need additional help, however, you can use the mushrooms I mentioned before, which turn you invisible so you can hit him for free. Now that's over with, congratulations! You've made it to the next floor range. I think that's about it for this video. Not gonna lie, it was supposed to come out sooner, but the hater funding event happened and I started playing on my main account again to rack up the hater kills. I'll probably start working on floors 21 to 30 after the event. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video and that I was able to help you in your climb. Bye bye. So, I hope you all were entertained by that video. Click here if you want to watch another video of mine, which is selected by the magical YouTube algorithm. Please don't forget to gently click that like and subscribe button if you liked my content. Thank you very much for watching and I'll be seeing you guys. Bye bye.